just zoom in a little bit here. Today we'll be talking about the future of work and why you should be paying attention to the big changes that are coming. We're going to talk about the technologies and tools that are going to become available to us that will either threaten your future or make it a brighter world, depending on how you decide to embrace these things. So you'll want to stick right to the end, where I give you some actionable advice and tips on how you can position yourself for the future of work and greatly benefit from it. So with that being said, friends, let's get right into it. Now let's talk about the industrial society, or the industrial era. This is the era where millennials, our parents, and their grandparents spent much of their working life. Millennials, I'd say, probably are in a transitionary. We're probably half and half in between, because now we're in the information age. But 9 to 5 work was the norm. Structured jobs where you worked either Monday to Friday and got a certain amount of days off was the norm for a lot of people. Another aspect was everything was centralized. Factories and offices. Everybody had to commute to their place of work. This is not the case anymore, with many people working remotely from home, like myself here in the studio. A lot of the jobs back then were also manual labor, so people who had to do physical labor was a large amount. That was a large portion of the workforce in the past. We're moving away from a lot of manual labor jobs as they're being replaced by robots, especially the more dangerous aspects of that work. And I think that's a net positive for humanity and possibly could save some lives as a result. Hierarchical. You always had a chain of command. You had bosses, CEO, board of directors making 99% of all the big decisions in these companies and organizations. That's rapidly changing with DAOs. And I'm going to get into that near the end of the video, where we'll talk about decentralized organizations and how you can start your own. And lastly, the last era relied very little on technology. A lot of it was based on human ingenuity and human beings coming up with solutions to problems and ideas. Now, the internet revolutionized everything, making information available to everybody across all different levels of society, and also facilitated real-time communication. This really leveled the playing field, especially for people who were disadvantaged up until then. Now, the role of AI. AI is going to automate all routine tasks, in my opinion. Anything that's a repetitive task is likely to get replaced by AI. That being said, though, there's going to be emergence of new jobs completely. You have things like AI trainers, AI ethicists that can basically analyze what is a good decision made by AI and what's not. And this is where your philosophy major might actually come in handy for once. One thing I'm really excited about with AI is lowered barriers to entry for small and medium-sized enterprises, or even solopreneurs. That's a new concept that's emerged. It's people that are harnessing AI tools as assistants to get a greater amount of work done than if they had done these things on their own. This levels the playing field and allows for small companies or even individuals to compete with very large organizations. We're seeing this already in Hollywood and the film industry, who was just recently on strike due to the threat of AI. Anybody like myself or a small group of people can now use AI tools and build incredible types of films and productions that rival some of these large film studios. Now, DAOs. DAOs are something I'm excited about because they organize people in a new way and push all the bad parts of centralization aside in favor of coded laws and rules on a smart contract. These things oftentimes are immutable and are what governs the organization are the token holders of these organizations. They have the ability to vote on their tokens on proposals that, once passed, will get enacted and projects will get funded. It's a bottom-up way of governing an organization. Now, governance tokens are a key feature of DAOs. They can be earned, bought, or even distributed to members of the DAO and basically represent their voice in voting on proposals. They also represent a member's ability to influence decisions that are made within the organization. Now, DAOs really challenge traditional ways of employment by introducing contribution based roles as opposed to like fixed roles in specific departments. You'd be surprised at what this allows for with collaboration with people, and there's been some really interesting collaborations that maybe would have never happened if these people were segregated into separate departments into fixed roles. Now, what are some areas you might want to focus on if you're looking at some of these new jobs? The first thing I would say is if there's a DAO that interests you that's aligned with something you want to do, I recommend you try joining it. Some DAOs are exclusive, but there's plenty of opportunity out there if you look. Now, under technical development, blockchain developers, programmers, and engineers are going to be in huge demand in the coming years. And if you're already a programmer, learning some blockchain skills could go a long way. Individuals skilled in governance models, tokenomics, and strategic planning play key roles in guiding a DAO's development. I have a decent amount of experience in the emergency services world and disaster planning that actually translates really well to the world of DAOs. So you may not even be in a field that's currently related to decentralized organizations, but you might have skills that translate over. Content creation and education. This is what I love doing most, is spreading the word of these new technologies that are coming out and creating content for you to consume that's going to educate you and hopefully enlighten you of the possibilities that are out there. What are some skills you might want to have in this field? Having technical literacy goes a long way, as well as having soft skills like knowing how to talk to people. That goes a long way too. In addition to that, having a growth mindset, being a lifelong learner, and being open to many possibilities is going to just work really well in your favor in these upcoming fields. We are rapidly moving away from jobs that we used to think served us really well, now moving into a future that maybe even threatens the existence of these jobs. Although it's not all scary. In my opinion, there's a ton of opportunities that are going to be emerging here in the near future, and for those who want to embrace it with a growth mindset and openness to these possibilities, this could be an incredibly transformative few years of your life. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about everything I went through here today? Are you working in a field that's currently threatened by some of these technologies? Or have I enlightened you to maybe consider some other possibilities outside of your field? Let me know in the comments down below. Click all the other buttons down below as well for the algorithm. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me here today. And until next time, peace out.